Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to this in the middle of the week Wednesday, where we deal with the hard stuff of recovery. And so I do believe that we're still on the love series. No, we're not. I think we finished it yesterday. But anyhow, today at some point I woke up pretty good. My day was going good. And when I was out doing my walk, all of a sudden it's like discouraging kind of feeling came upon me, and it kind of left me in a funk. And so today was the day that the second day for the week that I meet with my research group. And so stay with me while I finish discussing that and see basically how the Lord helped me to resolve it and to get in a better mood. So for those of you who do not know, my name is Sheila Rollins, and I am the founder. I'm trying to get some good light. I am the founder of H.U.L.A Ministries, Entertainment, and Associates Inc. And on this YouTube, we are Overcomers Anonymous, where we support anyone desiring to overcome anything. And we do it with Jesus Christ being a higher power, also, and what He's accomplished for us on the cross, even though I don't have a cross right here. Therefore, our cleanliness, our wholeness, our completeness, our forgiveness, the things that we thought were impossible becomes possible with Jesus Christ being a higher power. So, if I haven't already said so, welcome everyone, including those that's returning, those that's here for the first time. And so yesterday, for the most part, I try to exercise 5 days a week. However, I'm finding that some of my responsibilities is not getting done on paper. It's there to get done, but I've been struggling to get this stuff done. And that is because when you get a certain age, you fight sleep. So basically, I'm finding out that if I eat a little bit of something, like I was doing the blueberry smoothies in the morning, and basically that's all with my supplements and stuff. And that was working out good. And then eating later, and then I was getting a lot done. But however, lately the doctor is saying that I need to take supplements and eat foods and stuff like to make sure that my bones, stay good and strong and stuff. So I've been trying to eat stuff with more calcium and stuff like that. And so I've been trying to get in a meal in the morning. So, trying to finagle that and get my exercise in and my responsibilities and all that. And then I had a breakthrough. Remember, God gave me a breakthrough. I can't remember what day that was. It was just a couple days ago. God gave me this great breakthrough. And so basically, I told you that as a result of the breakthrough, in times past when He gave me a breakthrough, it released me to overcome some things, confront some things, and to move forward and to accomplish the goals that I otherwise was not able to accomplish because of how I was bound basically. And so at first, I really didn't know why I was in this funk, but all of a sudden, I was in this funk. And so when I called into the research group, on our line, it's not a Zoom line, it's a conference call. So when I called in, I guess it is a Zoom line. Yeah, it is a Zoom line. But when I called in, and the leader was asking me, how I was doing. And I told her, I said, well, I'm outside. I've been outside for a while. But it just seems like to me that I have a weight on me. Like a weight. And I'm trying to walk against it. And I got this heavy weight on me that I'm carrying. And then I start to tell her basically about the breakthrough that God has given me. And basically how I was expecting God to do something great for me as a result of the breakthrough and the knowledge that He gave me, which is basically that not just me, it wasn't just for me. That's why I shared it, because I didn't think it was just for me. I believe that, some other people may share the same experience, okay? So if you haven't already checked out my other YouTube, check it out, please. It is The Pursuit to Christ. There's playlists on it, which is a lot of different videos, not just mine, but others as well, okay? And it's not necessarily all of what I believe, so take it like a piece of fruit, eat the meat, throw out the seeds, spit out the seeds, okay? So I have a lot for you. And also on this YouTube, which is H.U.L.A Ministries Overcomers Anonymous, I have playlists on there as well, okay? So basically, it was basically that I had a root of rejection. And this root of rejection, because I didn't have anybody to embrace my way of the way I wanted to eat, okay? There was like this fear attached to me embracing it because nobody else embraced it. And I'm talking about parents, okay? Basically, back in the day, parents was like interested in you being healthy, being, not being hungry, and not looking puny and stuff. And so, my mother was interested in making sure that I had something to eat. Like I said, I don't blame her or anything. I really believe, like what I told the leader today, is that for me, I believe that it is by design that I have these 3 or 4 things that I'm dealing with this food addiction. And stand by, because I'm going to tell you what those things are, okay, in a few minutes, all right? Remember, in order for us to get all that Jesus has offered, we need to be obedient to his word. And I encourage the King James Version, because when I asked, that's what he encouraged me. And also the 10 Commandments, including the 4th commandment, where he admonishes us to keep the 7th-day Sabbath. These things are binding us for eternal life. Because the rich young ruler, when he came and he asked Jesus, what must I do to be saved? Jesus was like, the commandments? And he started naming them. Well, the 4th commandment, the 7th-day Sabbath, is the 4th of those commandments. Okay, so check that out in the arrow next to the title. So Satan plays for keeps. And so while initially, before I started really thinking that the way I ate was a problem, I told myself that I enjoyed it. I like how I ate and stuff like that. But, I mean, come on. Afterwards, I had indigestion, reflux, upset stomach, acid and indigestion. Who enjoys that? And so sometimes, I'm glad I brought that up so I can give me an opportunity to say this, that sometimes before we choose to do a particular behavior, we need to look at the result of what's going to happen if we indulge. And sometimes that can help us out, okay? And there's a scripture that goes with that. It's something about God talking about looking at the end from the beginning. But I'll try to find it and put it in the description if I find it. But anyhow, before I get into telling y'all the different things why I felt, I guess really what I felt was like hopeless. It's like everything that I did to get loose, with the exception of I never got an accountability person. Seriously, I never did that. And I only went to therapy for it just a little bit, for a short period of time. I didn't get discharged enough and I just stopped going. And so anyway, so now basically, the reason why I say it's for the glory of God is because the way that it had me bound. And the reason why I say Satan plays for keeps. But let me tell you about another way God has delivered me before I talk to you about the ways that I think that I was bound, and how I'm looking at it, how Satan is playing for keeps. Why it looks like without God's intervention, thank God for his intervention. Without God's intervention, there is no way out, okay? I'm like bound. But anyhow, I can remember the situation like governing my conception. And basically when my mother was pregnant with me, this is stories that I was told. And so basically, I was told that my mother lived in California, her and my dad. They were married, and they had 5 other children. And so something happened. I don't know what, but whatever it was, my mother came back to Delaware, leaving my father in California. And I guess at some point he found out that she left him and came back to Delaware. But anyhow, when they finally got back up together to see each other, she was pregnant. She was pregnant. And so while she was saying that the baby was his, he was like, it ain't not my baby. I mean, can you blame me? He was in California, and she was in Delaware. And next time he sees her, she's pregnant. And so from that, what that made me feel, hearing the story and how I experienced was that I was not wanted. That's how it made me feel. And lo and behold, God delivered me from that way of thinking. And I'll tell you how in a few minutes. I'm going to remember, I'm not going to forget that I got 2 things that I want to tell you. Okay. If you haven't already, check out my food fundraisers. The Finger Licking Good and reasonably priced. The vegan meat alternatives and sides, non-dairy ice cream and other desserts. Okay, veganism has a good rep. They can reverse disease, prevent disease, help us to hold on to those good youth genes, and also bless us with longevity. So check that out. So all right. So at 24 years old, I had a son. And so I was telling my son this story that was governing around, my conception and my mother carrying me, and later my birth. So at the end of the story, I told my son, they didn't want me. And my son said this. Now, at this time, he was probably, I don't know, maybe he was 16. I'm not sure, 16, 17. I don't know how old he was. But anyhow, all this time I'm thinking I wasn't wanted. That's like a root of rejection too. Like I was thinking I wasn't wanted. But he said, but Mom, the foster care system is filled with children. There's people that put their children up for adoption. There's people that abandon their children on the street, in hospitals, in the garbage cans or whatever. They kept you. They took care of you. And I was a rough something to take care of. I was, okay? And so anyway, I'm like, you know what? And even though my father wasn't around as much as I was, well, neither one of them really. Because remember, I have a clinging personality. It's like my love language is time and attention, and words of affirmation, And so basically, I was hungry and thirsty. But anyhow, he's right. They didn't give me away. They never abandoned me or anything. They really did not reject me. But you see how Satan works when you are a child and how he works on the mind. So God delivered me from that. So, and the thing, how things were settled concerning whether or not I was my father's child. I got to say this, all right? Of my mother's children, I am the only one that looks just like you. Teeth and everything, except for my complexion. My father's on a little darker side. But except for my complexion, I look just like you. And the funny thing about that is that his mother had faith in my mother, because he would say that a lot evidently. Ain't my baby. She said that remains to be seen. And she was right. And so my father adored me. Once I was born, he adored me. But anyway, so let me get into the little funk that I had today. And so I was kind of sad, and I'm like, come on, Sheila, this is the devil. This is the enemy. So basically the things that I told the leader was, I have the worst kind of addiction that there is. And that is a food addiction. We don't have to have sex. We don't have to do drugs. We don't have to drink alcohol, beer, wine. You know, we don't have to do all those other addictions. But we have to eat. And then I said, the other like strike against me in this situation is that I was a kid. I was a kid when I was traumatized over food. And then if that wasn't enough, there's a bond created over food with my mother. So anytime I feel any kind of emotion and I want to celebrate or I'm sad or whatever, I eat. It's a way, or I have in the past, it's a way that I feel close to my mother, you know. And also, you know, sometimes when you're traumatized, you know, with Satan in our ear, it can leave us with a lie telling us that this is a way that you cope with problems. And so basically, I would try to eat my problems away. I'm telling you, y'all, it is by the grace of God that I'm not big as a house. I'm serious, you know. So you should see sometimes like my plate of food. Now today I was conscious, you know, not to eat like that, you know, to watch my portions. You know, I made some spaghetti, a pot of spaghetti, so I'll be eating on that for a couple of days. It's my favorite. You know, one of my favorites. I like chicken and dumplings and some other things too. But anyway, so that was the three things. The first thing was that I had a food addiction. The triggers and all that. You can eat one thing, smell something else or whatever and go for that. Not be able to make up your mind. It's basically control was taken out of my hand. Just like with any other kind of trauma. And then, like I said, it happened when I was a kid. Thankfully though, that I did have a way in which I was eating before all of that happened. You know, before Mom didn't care that I ate whatever I wanted to eat, how much I wanted to eat, and whatever I didn't want to eat, I didn't get it, or either I just didn't eat it. It was no problem. Until people start coming around and saying, look at Sheila, she's so little, she's so skinny. Everybody's not meant to be big and fat, okay? And so anyway, so we begin to talk about it and everything. And so the leader, she kind of disputed me on some other things, you know, and she was saying that, you know, while I was saying I got the worst addiction because it's a food addiction, you know, she was saying that, you know, to other people, you know, addiction is addiction. You know, to other people, the thing that they're battling with, it's just as hard as what you may be battling with. But what I was saying to her was that we don't have to do those other addictions, but we do have to eat. We are not going to die if we don't have sex. We're not going to die if we don't have alcohol or drugs or, you know, substances or beer or whatever. We're not going to die from those things. You know, people that are shopaholics, they're not going to die if they don't get out and shop. But if you don't eat, you're going to die. Okay? And so that's what I was meaning. But anyway, but I understood what she was saying too, that, you know, not to dilute what other people's experiencing. And I really wasn't trying to do that. Basically, I was trying to work out what was going on with me and why I was left in this funk. Like all of a sudden it came on me. And then, you know, different other people begin to talk and stuff like that. And then, you know, I had this other thought. And that was basically like to try to clear up, you know, what I was saying, that I wasn't trying to dilute what anybody else's experience. I was just basically saying that what I'm experiencing in a food addiction is by design. In other words, it helped me to understand as I applied my experience to what other people may be feeling or going through as a result of what they are addicted to. It helps me to have compassion. It helps me to understand more. You know what I mean? It really does. It helped me to understand this. And so basically, you know, I was telling her that also too, the other point that I was saying to her was that But it was through food that sickness and death and sin came into this world. It wasn't through any other kind of thing that person could be addicted to. It was through food. And then she said this, and I'm gonna tell you something. This really helped me when she said this. Okay, so I'm thinking about stop on Saturday. I'm thinking about like doing something special on Saturdays with the videos. So make sure that you check them out. Okay, so I'm not sure yet, but anyhow, I'm thinking about that. I just want to put that plug in your ear. Okay, so check out the ads too, y'all. Make sure you take a look at the ads that's on the videos. So basically, I was saying to her that, and like I said, I feel like it's by design, because I have this nonprofit and the videos about overcoming anything. It's like, how can I even relate to my viewers, to my subscribers, if I'm not struggling too, and in my opinion, struggling with the worst addiction? Because like I said, I only say it's worse because it's how sin got into the world, and it's something that we have to do. Food is something that we have to do. But she said this, and this really, 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 really helped me. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Okay, because we're having a good time. We're dealing with some hard topics, but we are having a good time. Okay, share the videos. Remember to give me some thumbs up, encourage subscription as you share, and comment. I would love to hear from you. Comments help me to know what you like. It gives me the idea for some great other videos for you that I think that you may like, and it helps YouTube, to show my videos more when you give me some likes. Okay. So she said basically that it was not about the food. Now, so much so until the Bible doesn't even tell us what kind of food it was that Adam and Eve ate. It just said fruit, okay? It didn't say, a lot of people say apple, but the Bible doesn't say that nowhere. And I have read the Bible from kibber to kibber, honey. And more than one time. And I'm telling you, it is not there. And so what she said, and this really helped me out, she said that it was about power. Power. Satan tried to get power from Jesus. Okay? He lost power. His butt was kicked out of heaven. And so basically, God has placed everything in the hands of Jesus. And our deliverance, like Jesus said, like the Bible says, that even for, he has given deliverance, or he's offering deliverance for those that, because of fear, that was bound all their lifetime. So it is a type of fear, because it's been hard for me to like break this addiction, because I would have to say that my parents was wrong. I would have to say that my mother didn't do the right thing, and who can do that? It's like when you were a kid, your parents, especially your mom, is God. So how can you say God is wrong? And so on this Wednesday, when we're dealing with the hard things of recovery, we got to get to the point to where we face idolatry. We face fears. And if a parent did something that was not right, they are not God. And we can say, not that our parents was wrong, if you can't do that, and we don't need to do that, but we can say what they did, a behavior was wrong. And truly, for no reason to spank a child to eat, there's no reason to do that. It's wrong. It's forcing our desire on a child and disrespecting them. Okay, and so even though I basically did the same thing to my oldest daughter, but I didn't know no better. I was 14 years old. I didn't know no better, but as I got older and I learned better, I did do better. I didn't do that with my younger children. And so basically, I forgive my mom. Like I said, I'm not mad or nothing like that. But for such a time as this, for my nonprofit, for my videos and stuff like that, it helps me, like I said. It's by design. And it's going to be the glory of God. When God delivered me, like he delivered me from other things. Sex, fornication, okay? He delivered me from the unavailable man. He delivered me from people pleasing. He delivered me from just a whole lot of different things that he's delivered me from. When Satan was playing on my mind, being a secondary sexual victim, and basically making me feel that, I was mad at God, actually. But when I saw my need for God, that there was no other place that I could go to get the help that I need, I cried out. I ain't no fool, y'all. I cried out to God, and he delivered. And so this is why I'm in my right mind, y'all. I am strong, courageous, and love with God. And it's because of what God did for me. It's not no bragging on my part at all. It's because of what God did for me. So basically, this is all I have for you. I love you. I hope this was helpful. Comment down below, if you in any way can relate to what I've experienced today. But let me tell you, I forgot to tell you how I got out of the funk. So I'm walking down the hill. I'm here at the nursing home to see my uncle and his wife. So I'm walking down the hill to get the bus. And I'm still somewhat in a funk. And I'm saying, Lord, what the heck? Come on. I have a lot to be grateful for. I'm in my right mind, okay? I have your love. I have the joy, the peace that passes all understanding. No matter if you know me and you know some of the things that I'm going through in my life right now, you know that I had no business having this peace, but yet I have peace. And I said I can go wherever I want to go. I don't have to wait on nobody. I don't have to go where somebody else wants me to go and I don't want to go. None of that. And I'm saying that's just some of it. I have forgiveness. I can talk to you with my mouth. Okay? I have teeth. I found my glasses this week. I found my glasses that's been lost. That saved me over $300 or $400 not having to buy a new ones because I found these brand new glasses that I wasn't wearing, because usually I buy 2 pair. So, but anyhow, so that's how basically I got out of the phone, and I became hopeful. Like the Bible talks about, like when the children of Israel was in the wilderness, and they had to look at that brazen snake, where they was bitten by a snake, and they had to look at the snake that was all around this pole. Bible talks about us looking to Jesus in the same way, because that's where our healing is going to come from. That's where our help comes from. He said he'll never leave us or forsake us. Let us take him up on his promises. I love you. This is all I have for you. Now to him that is able to keep you from falling and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. To the only wise God, our Savior, be glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and ever. I love you. See you in the next shoot.